Hey, welcome back to Scared of Beautiful. I hope you all had a wonderful Resurrection Sunday. I was here with you all earlier today talking about Love and Marriage Huntsville from last night. If you missed the new season's opening episode, I did a review on it earlier. And now I am back because I just finished watching the finale of SWV and Xscape, Queens of R&B. Y'all, this has been the longest 6 weeks ever, I think, of my life, of my reality TV watching life. It has been so much drama nonstop. I got way more than I bargained for. I thought we were just going to be singing some songs, reminiscing on some great R&B. And Lord, we had a whole saga and family feud instead. If you are new here, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you're hitting your notification bell so you know when I upload another video. If you are one of my faithful subscribers, my beauties and my beaux, thank you all so much for holding me down. We are growing by the minute, and I just thank you all so much that you choose to listen to me run my mouth. Y'all, I don't think this was a bad finale. I think it was a good wrap up, but I think because all the last few episodes had so much drama, this one gave a little bit of drama, but it wasn't as power packed as the last few episodes, right? But it was still some good stuff that we need to get into, all right? So let's get to it. First, we see Xscape is still meeting in their business meeting where Tamika and Kandi are confronting basically Tocha with the receipts that they have gotten from this promoter who alleges that Rocky is getting kickbacks to secure the group. Tiny said in one of her videos, everybody now has started doing their own versions of speak on it. Tiny lets us know that she didn't know anything about the receipts until she got to the meeting as well. So Tiny is looking over everything just as Tamika did. And I love to really watch everything that's going on in the episode, everything that's going on with these characters and the people that we're watching on the screen. I like to pick up on body language, how their eyes are going, like what is going on. And it was very interesting to me that while Tamika is looking at these text messages and receipts, that she has this smirk on her face. Now, I won't say that this means she's guilty, but I always find it interesting when people look at things and they just have this kind of coy little smile. In my opinion, this looks like someone who has been caught red-handed, right? Now, she's going to try to say that it wasn't her. She doesn't know anything about it. She doesn't think it was Rocky either. So she then proceeds to call Rocky. And y'all, I took a still of her on the phone because she reminded me so much of the Super Karen lady. Like, same facial expression, same demeanor. They're both on the phone calling someone. You know, this lady was calling 911, and Tocha is calling 911 in her world as well. She's calling Rocky to let him know that the jig is up. Nah, she calling him to lie, but we'll get into that. So she puts Rocky on speakerphone. He says that he doesn't want Tocha to say 2 words on his behalf. He never wants her to talk on his behalf. And I think he doesn't want her to talk. Let me make sure we have these banners going, honey. Everything that I say is always my opinion, and it's based on what these people have shown us on television. I think he was telling her not to say anything because they don't have their story straight yet. So he wants to make sure she doesn't reveal too much and let him do all the talking. We know how that works, girl. And according to Tamika, Tocha is never allowed to talk. Rocky always controls what she says, what she does, and that's why she's in this predicament. Well, Tocha lets her know, girl, I'm not in a predicament, sis. And we know you're not in a predicament, Tocha. We know. Why do we know? Because
stand beside my husband. I know, y'all think I don't know. I know everything. Everything.
She knows everything. Tamika, she knows everything. Your sister is not this little innocent victim that you think she is. If y'all missed my video a week or so ago, I did a video breaking down my thoughts on Tocha in this situation and how I feel she is not the fool in love that some people want to paint her as. She is, in fact, a master manipulator. She's a key co-conspirator in this whole thing, in my opinion. Rocky says, y'all can go back and forth all you want to. I know what I said to the promoter and what he sent me, and I didn't take anything from him. I have nothing to hide. Kandi then explains, look, Rocky, we have actual screenshots. Like what your wife is holding is a printout, but we have the actual screenshots of the text messages that you sent back and forth to the promoter with the kickback arrangements. He specifically shows the text where you all are talking about your wife getting with the ladies and making sure all 4 ladies are present for this promoter's performances. Rocky says he has the same text messages and that they read the same, but that they have nothing to do with Xscape and he doesn't have any of their money. Now, sir, Tocha was very young when she got hooked up with him, so I'm trying to give her as much grace as possible. But this man's game is horrible. His lies don't add up, and they're not even good lies. So they have text messages of you. You admit that you have texted this promoter, and you have the same text that he has. And the text clearly show you saying you will get your wife to talk to the ladies and make them listen, and that there are 4 ladies who need to be present for the performance. Now, unless Tocha is more booked and busy than she's telling us, I don't know of any other female group of 4 ladies that his wife Tocha is in. Do y'all? Because I don't know. Is it a different Xscape? Is it a different wife? Maybe that's it. Because he out in these streets allegedly slanging it far and wide. So maybe there's a different wife. Maybe that's it. Maybe Rocky is smarter than us. I don't think so. But he thinks if he says it enough, we'll believe it. Tocha might. We don't, sir. Anyway, he doesn't know. He doesn't care. And Tamika says, look, Tocha has been brainwashed since she met Rocky. Again, I say maybe in the beginning, but at this point, she all in. In the confessional with production, Rocky says that kickbacks are for hustles. He doesn't have to hustle. He does the deals. Not for Xscape, you don't. Maybe for your wife, but you do not do deals on behalf of Xscape. And honestly, y'all, part of this, I have to lay at the feet of Xscape as a whole. This is what I meant when I talked about in a previous episode. They really are doing themselves a disservice not having appropriate representatives. You need a booking agent. You need a road manager. You need stylists, you need an attorney, you need a creative director, you need official people on your payroll. Yes, that means you got to pay more people. Yes, that means you got to split the pot more ways. It is what it is to conduct effective business. Now, look, you could have a real manager stealing from you, but at least you would have one central place, hopefully a neutral person agreed upon by all four ladies who conducts your business. Rocky wouldn't be able to get kickbacks and make side deals if promoters and people could come to your website or your social media pages and see, in order to book Xscape, you must contact blank, blank, blank. You can have a central email address set up where all of the members get access to that email address. Right? That's how you conduct business. A lot of this back and forth with SWV could have been handled if the business piece was in place. But y'all look sloppy. And it's sad to say, as big of business women as Tiny and Kandi claim to be, and I'm not even going to say claim to be, Kandi is clearly a good businesswoman when it comes to her personal businesses. But I just don't understand how they have allowed one member of Xscape to hold the group hostage like this. And that is exactly what Tocha and Rocky have been able to do. If Tocha would not agree to another manager to manage the group, she should have been hit the road. Why is she there? And again, maybe it was a self-esteem thing. Maybe, because they are a foursome, they really wanted to hold the group together. But no, if you truly want to do this group, you can't let one person hold up your business like this, right? So Tocha then chimes in and says, well, look, there have been plenty of times that all of the members have brought deals to the table, and they've taken a percentage because they feel like they brought it to the table, so they deserve the percentage. That has never been a problem before. According to the other ladies, Tiny did, like I said, her version of Speak On It. She says that hadn't happened before. Or I think that was her and Kandi in Kandi Speak On It. Just another aside, y'all. I always see, thank you all so much for sending me videos, things that you want me to give my opinion on. When it comes to these reviews, I'm kind of a purist, right? I want to review the actual show. If I look at Kandi Speak On It or somebody else's Speak On It, I think somebody sent me Taj's Instagram Live. If I look at those and I think it adds something to the show or something interesting, I'll do a separate video on those. The last video, y'all were leaving me so many comments, and I love it, informing me of the things I missed. But just know that when I review the show, I'm basing it on the actual show. Right? My attorney brain kicks in when people bring in other stuff that we didn't see on the show. I'm like, objection. Assumes facts that are not in evidence. The only evidence before me right now is the evidence that we see in these 60 minutes on this show. Now, back to our regular scheduled program. Rocky cuts Tocha off per usual, and he tells the producer that he doesn't get kickbacks. If someone is paying him, it's because they owe him. This ain't stealing. He did the deal. And again, sir, you do not have authority to do deals on behalf of Xscape. You don't. That's that entitlement kicking in again. The only thing that was missing from me, y'all, from Rocky's little grandstanding, you can clearly tell where he got his inspiration from.
My daughter needs to talk to you, Big Red. Give me a minute. Can't you see I'm talking? No. I need to talk to you right now about my royalties and how you keep your books. My office hours are from 9 to 5.
quiet as it's kept, y'all. Rocky really probably wishes this was back in the old days and he could have handled up on Tamika and or Kandi and whoever else like Big Red was handling up on people and other music people in the day back in the day, allegedly Suge Knight and all of them. I wouldn't put it past Rocky to send some women over there to rough them up. But we're not in those days anymore, Rocky. Welcome to the new world. Social media is alive and well. You have done all of this stuff and it's been revealed on camera. You've been getting away with it, unfortunately, for the last 30 years. But these meddling kids, honey, we have uncovered it all and we are not going to let up off of you. At least I don't see any time in the foreseeable future because y'all have opened Pandora's box. I don't know why you signed up for this show, but it is what it is. Yeah, one thing that I always laughed about, I would see people making jokes about Rocky and his name and how he got his nickname. And, you know, we have enough that we can get on Rocky for. I didn't want to join in on this. But again, I just happened to notice in the confessional, why are Rocky's eyes this dilated and big? I don't know if he's bucking his eyes because he thinks, oh, if I do this, that really lets him know that I'm telling the truth and I'm serious about what I say, or, you know, I can't blink because if I blink, they may think I'm lying. So I'm just going to keep my eyes like this. You know, if somebody paying me, it's because they owe me. You know, I do the deals. Sir, we don't believe you. You need more people and not Tocha and not Tasha's mama because we don't believe none of y'all. Don't have the credibility, sir. But again, this whole thing just reeks of the entitlement. It's what he let out on that phone call with Tasha K about Tamika's alleged $30,000. She knew that wasn't her money. You know, Tasha was writing all the songs. He feels and she feels they are entitled to more than they are because they both operate in the same level of delusion. All right. Kandi says, look, we get it, sis. Stand by your man, all that good stuff. But sometimes you have to acknowledge when things ain't right. Tasha's like, nope, I'm cool on all of this. She gets up, she gets her purse to leave. Tiny says, look, we need to get through this Ontario show. Tasha leaves and immediately calls her other alleged co-conspirator and her definite narcissistic supplier, that golden child syndrome, her mama, to complain about how the ladies expect her to do business with them, but her family is the one that's falling apart and they are just focused on making money. Hard stop, Tasha. Hard stop. I don't know if that whole speech was for the camera or I guess for your mama to try to make your sister look bad again, you know, because you're not about silver and gold, allegedly, just Tamika. Tamika's only the bad one that's obsessed with the money that now you have allegedly stolen from her twice, right? Because, let's see, yeah, 4 members of Xscape. Tasha and Tamika's mama is allegedly the 5th member. Rocky is the 6th member because he's getting money. He's getting a cut as well. At that point, Tasha is actually stealing from all of them because instead of a 4th cut, she, you know, if we do our fractions, Tasha is getting, let me see, 6, 3. She's getting half of the money. 6 members, she's tied to the other 6. Then she has her share. Yeah, that's 3/6, which is 1/2. And when we reduce, she's getting half of their money of the other lady's portion. Not cool. The only thing that you care about in regards to Tamika is that you feel like she was disloyal to the family. She's betraying you by finally standing up for herself. Other than that, you could give 2 F's about Tamika or your family. You just care that she's making you look bad on national television, in your opinion, and that you and Rocky are finally being exposed. Next, we see Tamika on the phone with her daughter. getting ready for the trip to California for this concert. We see everybody checking in with their family. Coco is checking in with Jalen. Taj is checking in with her son, Eric. Tiny, we see checking in with Zonique. And we see that Xscape has agreed to let, SWV has agreed to let Xscape close out the show and sing Understanding, which I find very interesting. I'll tell you why later. But they just said, look, it wasn't worth the back and forth to continuously go on. We're just going to let Xscape have it. Next, we see Kandi and Ty getting ready to pack up, and Tocha and Rocky in the car on their way to the airport. Tocha again states that she doesn't want to be around negativity. She's grateful for Rocky's support. She says she doesn't know why Tamika is acting out and lying like this. So they again go back to showing this tired old radio interview where Tamika alleges that Kandi sleeps around. She slept with the whole So Def. She slept with Jermaine's dad, Michael Molden, and all these things. We got it, girl. Y'all have, you in production have ran that story into oblivion. She lied. She admitted she lied, unlike you. She actually owned up to her wrongs. You are the only one in this equation who acts like you've done nothing wrong, ever, at all. Stop it. She talks about Rocky telling her the truth, and that the truth will always stand. He then, fills her up more with some of his pimp talk and tells her to grab the microphone and make his money. And then they will be on to bigger and better things. He's like, girl, don't worry about it. Get on here out on this stroll and make daddy money. And then we can move on so I can pimp you out to the gospel label, allegedly. SWV is in a Sprinter van together. Xscape is in a Sprinter van too, minus Tocha, of course. Tocha has her own lodging. She's not going to be staying at the hotel with them. She's renting a home of her own, and she has her own transportation around California. SWV is worried about how the show is actually going to go off because they don't have the transitions down. They don't have how the show is going to be integrated between the two acts. So now we see that there's one day left before the show. Taj is over there chewing on Tums, trying to get ready, and Tamika is out getting chicken and waffles. So the dynamics there are hilarious to me. One person is over here like, my gut is on fire right now. I have to get this indigestion in order. And Tamika is over there about to create some indigestion before she goes do all these dance moves. Next, we see Tocha and Rocky talk over breakfast from their private chef. And she gets another pep talk from him where he says, look, I know you are going to rise under pressure. As always, Tocha says she is blocking out all of the noise. And Rocky says, look, I'm done. I'm done with Tamika after all of this betrayal. Next, we see the producers in a confessional ask Rocky about stealing from Tamika and the alleged kickbacks. Y'all, I had to stop this I don't know how many times, but I wanted to slow down because he's a quick one. He's a fast talker. I wanted to slow down what he said so I could literally count the different stories, right? You ready? This is what Rocky said when asked about Tamika's alleged $30,000 in these kickbacks. Rocky, one, has very defensive body language. He's sitting there with his arms folded, like, this again. Then he says, two. Second thing he does, he says, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Then he says, number three, they can't prove it. So first, it wasn't true. But secondly, they can't prove it. What can't we prove if it's not true? Don't add up, sir. Okay. Then he says, three, I didn't never have a bank account. So it's double negatives, but we're going to look over that. I didn't never have a bank account. So you've never had a bank account, sir? Ever. At all. Now, you're just lying to lie at this point. We know you've had a bank account. And again, he's a tricky one. So maybe he himself, as a person, has never had a bank account. But we know, as a business owner, you have definitely had a bank account, sir. Your business has had a bank account. Then he says in number 4, you can't put another person's checks into anybody's bank account. How would you know you can't put another person's check into anyone's bank account if you don't have a bank account to try to put another person's check in? And as I've already stated in some of my previous videos, you absolutely, especially at that point in time, can do a third-party check and sign it over and put it into your bank account. The next thing he says, number 5, it's impossible for someone to steal someone else's royalty checks unless you forge their signature or their name, get their social security number, etc. So you've never done it, but you know how it's done. Then lastly, he says, I don't know nothing about it anyway, and laughs it off. So you went from it's not true to they can't prove it to I never had a bank account to, well, you can't put another person's check into anybody's bank account. Then it pivoted to it's impossible for someone to steal someone else's royalty checks unless you forge their signature or their name, get their social security number, etc. And then finally, I don't know nothing about it anyway. For someone who knows nothing, you sure know a lot. You definitely know everything that there is to know about this situation. In that short, rambling sentence of mumbling and trying to fast talk everybody, you consistently tell on yourself, sir. The math is not mathing. The only thing that's mathing is that these lies are consistently adding up. He's a very fast talker, y'all. The mumbling, the stuttering, the stammering, those are all signs that he's lying. He's also being very fidgety. He's looking over at Tocha to check her body language to see if she's agreeing or not silently with him. But the biggest key is he told 6 different stories about this alleged incident of stealing the $30,000. He claims he doesn't know anything about the stolen royalties, but he definitely has the recipe. I can't remember what comedian it was. They were talking about, ironically, crack rock. And they were like, I can't teach you how to make it, but I definitely know the recipe. He hasn't stolen any royalties, but he just happens to know if you're going to do it, you have to force somebody's signature, their name, and have their social security number and all of these things. How do you know that, sir? Could it be because you have allegedly done it before? I think that's it. He really is consistently taken from, in my opinion, another one of his role models, the good old Ike Turner. Y'all, I found this old video of Ike Turner where they were asking him his opinion on the What's Love Got to Do with It movie. So they were showing him clips of the show. I'll cite my source in the description, but I want y'all to listen to this little part and tell me if this don't sound just like Rocky in this confessional that he just did.
She priced us all right. She ain't seen a dime of it yet.
Well?
That's the biggest lie in the world. There's nothing in the world that she didn't have. But no, what I'm talking about. I've told Tina, hey, why don't you get your own bank account? Where you want to be, come ask me, blah, 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 blah. She said, nope, I don't want to mess with your money. I said, it's not my money, it's our money.
That's Ike talking about how he felt watching the scene where one of Tina's Ikettes says her voice is priceless, but she doesn't see any of the money. And Ike is basically saying that's a lie. He has in fact encouraged Tina to get her own bank account. Now, does anyone actually believe that Ike Turner encouraged Tina to be independent or self-sufficient in any way? And it's really ironic that, of course, later on in this episode, we're going to see how they've been doing it through this whole show. They basically make themselves out to be a modern day Ike and Tina. And for the life of me, I can't understand why either of them think that will be appropriate role models. Now, I understand why Rocky does, because we see who and what Rocky is. But Tocha just sits there and grins and thinks it's this funny thing. You know, as great as that movie was, with the proliferation of memes, it's really sad that so many people take these Ike Turner, which is basically Lawrence Fishburne, he played him in the movie. They take these stills and him looking back and sing the song anime, eat the cake anime, and we make jokes of it, but it's literally making a joke of domestic violence. And that is what Rocky and the gospel singer Tocha have decided to stake their reputation on. Makes no sense. SWV, we go to rehearsal. SWV shows up. They're ready to rehearse and get it together. They says they only have 8 hours to get this show together. Xscape 3 is there, minus Tocha. And eventually Tocha shows up. She is in the van. We see her on the way there, but she rolls in with an entourage, and it's Tamika says, look, this is not my sister. This is Rocky. That's him and all of his people. After 28 years, Tamika, I just need you to understand it's her too. He's not just pulling her puppet strings and manipulating her anymore. This is what she wants. Lily says Diana Ross has finally arrived. Once Tocha gets there, don't do that, Lily. Don't feed that monster anymore. She's nothing like the boss. Never could be, never will be. Like, stop. SWV and their management become very frustrated by Xscape trying to do a full-on dress rehearsal versus just rehearsing the transitions. The choreography and everything has been very last minute. Then there's an argument over whether or not the two groups are going to sing Is My Living in Vain together. Coco is going off saying that she doesn't want to sing it. They don't do gospel in their sets. She's on edge. She has no more medication left, and she is ready to fight. She doesn't understand why Lily and Taj are letting Xscape run all over them. She's like, y'all not from New York? Like, this is not what we do. Taj is trying to get the group to compromise. Then Taj gets frustrated because the choreographer and Don Juan keep butting into everything that the ladies are trying to work out. Don Juan chimes in when they say that they're going to do some type of women's empowerment speech before Is My Living in Vain. And he very loudly says, that sounds corny. And then all of a sudden, we see Taj going off on him. Look, I don't blame Taj. It seems like it was a complete cluster F. And Don Juan has been known to speak out of turn. I get that Kandi relies on him heavily. He should know by now when it's not a Kandi run event, pipe down. It's not your place at this point. You were not listed as the, I could see Steven, the graphic designer, and all these other people, even the choreographer, having some input. But Don, just sit there and watch the show. Text Kandi if you have notes on the show. But to out loud say what these ladies are trying to do is corny, maybe you don't get it. Maybe the actual women who will be attending the show, because their audience is primarily women, don't get that twisted, because I know how y'all like to flip what someone has said. The majority of that audience in the concert was female. Maybe they would have liked the corny women's empowerment moment, But at this point, y'all don't have enough time to keep moving stuff around. So I am not faulting Tosh for losing her cool a little bit. Don Juan needs to learn how to stay in his lane. And honestly, Kandi should say that. I like Kandi a lot. But when it comes to him, when it comes to her mom, it's like she constantly lets people speak out of turn when other people are involved. Like, if it's just you and your business, have at it. But these other people don't have to listen to and or deal with Don Juan. So I was cool with what happened there. Tocha, the day of the show, Tocha walks in, doesn't speak to Tamika. Tamika says she wants to figure out if she should talk to Tocha or try to talk to Tocha before or after the show. She is questioning if she confronts Tocha, if Tocha will just, walk off and not want to do the show. And so Kandi's like, yeah, don't do that. Like, we need her, we want to get this show done. And in her confessional, Tamika is questioning whether or not she should have ever confronted Tocha in front of the other ladies, or if she should have, done it by herself. And ultimately, she decides that no, this is about business. It was appropriate to do it in front of the other ladies. And I agree. The 30,000 of her royalty money, if you want to handle that sister to sister, fine. But the alleged kickbacks, that affects the whole group. That's taking money out of all of their pockets. It's going to reflect on the total group, potentially negatively, if other promoters get word that in order to get Xscape, you got to go through Rocky and pay him a little bit on the side, So that was important for the whole group to be in that discussion. Tocha shows up with at least 10 people with her. Kandi is like, who is all of these people and what do they do? Tocha lets us know, honey, she has a makeup artist, an assistant, a wardrobe person, a stylist, a private chef, a videographer. She has to stay on point. Now, why do you need a videographer? Were they shopping some kind of independent reality show to possibly coincide with this gospel album release? That's the only reason I can think that LaTocha Scott would need a full-on videographer to travel with her. Tocha and Rocky did not have a big social media presence before this show. So why would she need a videographer to travel with her to film her and make little reels or content? That doesn't make sense. Something in my spidey senses is telling me this was another side deal or another deal that Rocky was going to try to make to try to capitalize off of this show and off of her coming, moving away from Xscape and going into her own solo lane with this gospel deal. And again, in my opinion, you have completely shot yourself in the foot. And you're going to continue to shoot yourself in the foot with this entourage. Y'all, some of y'all may be too young, but a lot of us remember the great MC Hammer. MC Hammer ran through $70 million in 5 years. A large part of him running through that money was because at the height of his career, he had over 200 friends and family that he employed on his payroll. And in the 90s, his payroll included sometimes $500,000 per month towards employees. I will link this article in the comments. In the description bar if anybody is interested in reading it. But I remember this story when I was a little girl. It was a big thing. MC Hammer, Tony Braxton, like lots of other celebrities, singers, rappers had to file bankruptcy. And in the case of Tony Braxton and TLC, it's because they were not getting paid. Their record deals were trash. MC Hammer, on the other hand, actually saw his money, $70 million, and ran through it in a span of 5 years. This is what happens when you have large, unnecessary entourages. Tocha doesn't need all those people. She doesn't. She's not that popular, and I'm not saying that to be mean. You need to preserve your coin, because at the rate you're going, ma'am, you're going to allegedly have to steal lots more to support all of these people. And the fact that they travel with you. You can have a makeup artist, you can have a stylist at home. They can put the outfits together, get you all your accessories, have you hooked up. Why are they actually traveling with you? You don't know how to dress yourself at this point? People can say what they want about Kandi, but that girl gonna save a coin. She shows us where on Real Housewives of Atlanta, where she has done her own makeup lots of times. You know, it's cool to have all this glam, but you're not at a place where you can afford it. Oh, but I guess right now you do think you can afford it, because allegedly you're getting at least half of the money because kickbacks. Okay, girl. That entourage just really bothered me, y'all. Rocky then... oh no, I'm sorry. I don't want to miss what Tamika said. So Tamika and Kandi are back in their dressing room laughing. Tamika says, look, I am fine with having to go through her assistant got an assistant. And then Kandi says she's portraying this image that no one cares about. Rocky then goes up to Tocha in her dressing room to ask her who she is tonight. She says she doesn't know. They'll just have to come up with a name for her. And he then suggests Tina to her. Craziness. And she's cool with that because she says Tina Turner really did her thing in her prime. She left and did what she had to do. Ma'am, she left Ike. Did that even occur to you? She left Ike and did what she had to do. Xscape is not Ike, especially not in this situation. He then butters her up even more to say they're going to hate you. That's what he wanted to say. He said they're going to be mad at you tonight. And she says, well, I hope not. I hope everyone has come to do their job, because that's what I'm here to do. Rocky is a textbook narcissist, y'all. Everything that we watch him do when he talks to Tocha, when he's not being menacing towards her, he is full on love bombing her. Y'all who don't know what love bombing is, this is just a quick little paragraph. Love bombing is a technique used by malignant narcissists at the beginning of their relationship and other points in the relationship as well. But they begin the relationship with excessive amounts of contact, praise, flattery, and attention. This is known as love bombing. They use love bombing to groom their victims in order to get them invested in a fabricated future together, one that they never plan to deliver on. And if y'all have been watching those clips of the alleged mistress with Tasha K, she's saying that Rocky always promised her that he was going to leave, that he and Tasha have not been sleeping together. They've not been on the same page for a very long time, and he's ready to get out. Love bombing is especially effective when a victim is still healing from a loss, a trauma, or a void of some kind. As Dr. Archer notes, the dopamine rush of the new romance is vastly more powerful than it would be if the target had a healthy self image. Because the love bomber feels a need the target can't feel on her own. The source is Psych Central. I will list the full article in the description box if you all want to read it. But when we see Rocky constantly trying to tell Tocha that the other ladies are jealous of her and they're going to be mad at her for actually showing up to do her job and sing, that's him feeling that void that she admits that she had as the big girl of the group with low self-esteem who really just wanted to be the star. He's constantly love bombing her and stroking her ego in that way. Everything that Rocky did in that conversation was classic pimp culture 101. He has broken her down so bad, she doesn't even know who she is. Like, he asked her, "Who are you tonight?" She can't even come up with an alter ego on her own. So he gives her one, but he gives her abused and misused Tina Turner. Her dumb self accepts it and says, "Oh, she left and did what she had to do." As I said before, yes, she left Ike. A light bulb should be going off for Tocha right now. Like, sis, until you divorce Rocky and do right by all of the people you have allegedly stolen from, your sister, the group, everything that you touch is going to crumble. I hope y'all went out and bought and streamed that old single that was released on Good Friday. I won't be. And I didn't. But I hope y'all do. Because she needs a win at this point. Like, everything is looking bad, real bad. But the reality is you reap what you sow. And occasionally I have people in the comments, and look, you can like who you like, but at this point, if you've seen all of this evidence and you think Tocha and Rocky have done no wrong, I am concerned about your perception. You know, I also see comments sometimes where people are like, "Well, Tamika just should not have brought this to the public. She's been dealing with this for 30 years. I'm not gonna, I don't want to insult anyone, but all of this secrecy, living, keeping secrets, that's what holds people in bondage. And in our communities, especially, I know it happens in other communities. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to hear that, "Oh, it ain't just the Black folks." It's not. But I'm Black. I'm concerned with Black people. Okay? This is how people get misused and abused in church. This is how pastors, trusted clergymen, are allowed to abuse children and women and little boys and girls, not just girls, all the time, because everybody wants to sweep it under the rug. This is how the weird uncle or granddaddy or grandmother or aunt get to keep molesting people in the family because we don't want to speak up. And when someone does have the strength and the courage to speak up, we say, "Well, it was a family matter, so you shouldn't have said anybody." When the family can make jokes and say, "Oh, don't leave the kids with Uncle Rocky," allegedly. Uncle Robert, maybe that's more appropriate. "Don't leave your purse open around Uncle Rocky." It's not a joke. Why do we keep letting these cycles happen? Quit trying to shame people for standing up for themselves. This needed to happen. I hate that it happened, but really what I hate is that Tocha and Rocky allegedly did this in the first place. That's what we all forget. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And to the church folks, again, it's biblical. You reap what you sow. Whatever religion you follow, if you believe in more philosophy basis, karma, more Eastern religions, it's what it is. You don't really get to determine how it comes back to you. So I don't really feel bad about that. Tamika tells Kandi she would rather deal with one of the assistants than to deal with with Edward stealing hands. And that was hilarious to me because we now know that Rocky's government name is Edward Bivens. Kandi says, yeah, he's over there chopping up all of the money. He's been MIA since the receipts have dropped. Then we get to the actual show, right? We see them, they're in their dressing rooms, they're getting ready. And I must say, y'all, those outfits were the pits. I didn't think I would get, world-class quality out of stripper designers. However, the rhinestones, the appliques, the lace, the feathers, the tassels, it all looked cheap AF. Very, very cheap. I want them to do better. It was way too much going on. Coco Chanel always would say, if y'all have never heard this quote, it's a very good fashion rule to follow. Before you leave the house, look in the mirror and take off one thing. Lots of people over accessorize, do too much. Those things were bedazzled to the hilt. And it didn't need all of that. You don't need feathers and tassels and lace and rhinestones and mesh. It was trashy and I didn't like it. I am excited. I don't know if y'all seen SWV's glow up. They have gotten with Jay Bolin, the great stylist who also does stuff with Melody Holt and other people. And he is styling them and they have stepped their game up. This was one of my favorite looks that they posted recently. And I love it. It's giving very grown and sexy, but also polished and professional. I also love Coco's new cut with the blonde on her. I love Taj's bob. It does great because she has such a structured face. And Lily looks beautiful as well. Like this is what it means to look out and be grown and sexy. Somebody caught my reference to the Martin episode where, we like our women classy and not showing all the assy. So I really like that they are, look, you take what you can use and leave the rest. So they're taking what they can use from this experience with Xscape. Now we see them actually at the concert. All of the ladies sound great. Tocha complains that she and Tamika aren't talking on the stage like they normally do. They don't have their normal chemistry. I mean, you did not speak to her when you walked in with your whole entourage and team. Did you go to her on stage, Tocha, and say, sing, sis? Relationships are two-way streets. You can't say, well, Tamika didn't do it to me if you didn't attempt to go engage her. Then she says, oh, we would normally, slap butts. Well, girl, she couldn't come over there and slap your butt because if she did, you may have felt body shamed again. So no one's going to take a risk slapping you on your butt when we don't know what your response is going to be. Next, we see that they actually do close the show with understanding. I, at this point, think the weak versus understanding thing was mainly driven by production. I still maintain that weak should have closed out that show. But I feel like for production purposes, because this is a television show, understanding fit the theme of the show more based on everything that had transpired over this 6 weeks that we've been watching. All of the BS that Xscape had going on, understanding is definitely what they need. So I can see the producers really driving, like, we need to close out with this song. And because again, they're thinking about the television production, whereas we, the fans who enjoy the music, are looking at it from a music perspective. Both groups are very excited at the end. Taj asks, was it all worth it? And they all say yes. Taj says, well, would you do it again? And Xscape 3 minus Tocha says yes. Coco is like, what the hell is wrong with y'all? Kandi says, look, if we had more time to practice and produce a more quality show, it would be great. And I think in a perfect world, it would be, but nah, this was way too much. I think relationships, unfortunately, have been so damaged. I don't see even SWV wanting to be on an Xscape show. I'm sure they will because they're grown. They're not going to let anything stop their bag. But a joint show or this continued tour, we've already seen SWV do too many interviews where they're like, no, that will never happen. Tamika then goes to get Tocha to have their conversation. She says, look, we need to talk. Tocha doesn't want to talk. She says she's tired. And Tamika says, we need to talk now because when we get home, everything goes quiet. Tamika says in her confessional that she's not looking for an apology. She's not looking for her sister to admit any wrong. She just is looking for sisterly love at this point. And my heart was really with Tamika the whole time. She's really hurt by her sister, and her sister looks like she could give a damn. Tocha says that, look, I don't like the chaos. I don't like the negativity. I don't like this pointing of fingers that goes on with you all. And Tamika's like, I'm not talking about the ladies. I'm talking about us right now as sisters. Tocha says, well, I mean, we're family. And Tamika's like, well, it doesn't feel like it. Tocha says, well, who made it like that? Because I didn't. Now, you just said you don't like finger pointing, and then you proceed to point a finger. That Tocha. Tamika says, you made it like this. Your energy, the energy of your team, you all walk past me and you don't even speak. Tocha says, well, what else do you all want me to do? In that moment, I think for Tasha's next apology video, she already full on snotted on Instagram. The only thing she can do to top it at this point would be,
what more do you want from me?
That's it. That's all she could do. That's what she gave me in this moment. Tocha says, what do you all want me to do? Tamika says, look, I just want you to be who you are. And Tasha's like, I am. This is me. Tamika, I want you to take that in and really see it. Wise person once said, when people show you who you are, show you who they are, pay attention to it. Maya Angelou. Believe people when they show you who they are. And Tasha says, this is me. Tamika shakes her head and she's trying to take it all in. Tasha is in her confessional saying she wishes her sister would just be honest and say, look, I'm jealous of Rocky. I get mad when he takes you away. You're my sister. Just say that. Tasha, you really think all of this amounts to your blood sister being jealous of you and your husband? That man has truly succeeded in building all types of delusional thoughts in your head. And that's what's really sad and honestly so dangerous. True narcissists isolate you from everyone. It'll only be a matter of time before he isolates her from the mother. That's if they don't have to move back into the mother house, as Tamika is about to tell them. um, Tamika says, okay, so we're just working. And Tocha says, yep, we're just working. You're not going to point fingers at me or make me out to be the bad person. You're not going to diagnose me. It goes both ways. You have to look at yourself in the mirror. And Tamika's like, I do. Tocha says, you don't, and walks off. Tamika says, what ask her why she's leaving and where they stand as sisters. Tocha says, right there, and points to all of the cameras around the room, I'm guessing. Tamika says, so that's where we are now. It's you and your 13 entourage members. That's your family now. Tocha says, yes, they treat me better than you. Tasha's like, what? They treat you better than me? And Tocha yells it again. Yes, they treat me better than you. Those people want a check, ma'am. Again, have Rocky call Robert Kelly where he is and ask where his entourage is these days. As soon as something happens to you and you are not able to pay those people's bills, they will be gone. And your blood family will still be there, hopefully. Tocha then complains in the confessional that she cannot believe this is the sister she grew up with playing dolls. Quiet as it's kept, girl, you was probably allegedly stealing them little doll clothes too. Tamika says you better have mama save you another room at her house when you go broke. It's not funny, y'all, but that definitely was a little sister comeback. And it was honest. Tocha has already said that her and Rocky had to go stay at the mama's house. And I know this is going to be a little controversial. People aren't going to like this. But Tocha and Rocky have one child. People go through hardships in life, right? There are also people who are too proud. You heard Lily say she was homeless and sleeping in a car. Then she went back and got her GED and got an office job. Taj, when SWV broke up, had to get a job that paid $9 an hour. You mean to tell me, with all of the industry in Atlanta, Rocky's grown behind took his wife and child to her mother's house? He couldn't go down at a Home Depot? He couldn't go to Coca-Cola? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he has a couple of felonies. You can go drive trucks even with felony convictions. He wants to lay up on Tocha. And when his deals aren't coming to the table, they have no income coming in. So instead of him and or Tocha actually going out here to get jobs that us regular people have to get every day, because guess what? Y'all regular. She can sing, She can sing. I can name in the 90s at least 5 other people who can sing just as good, if not better than Tocha, that did not, that also didn't make it big. A good voice is a dime a dozen in the music industry. And so you took your grown behind, a fully grown man, he's older than Tocha, back into her mother's house. So yeah, I can see y'all both being back because you haven't learned. Clearly. Tamika then says, look, they can have her. She's not begging anymore. But then we see her really, really crying in her confessional. Again, this is hard to watch because they are sisters. She says, look, this is bigger than the group. This is my actual sister. And then they flash back to the dressing room where Tamika then starts crying on Kandi's shoulders. Tocha says that she wants her sister back. She wants the sister back that she did everything with. And that they will have to have a real sit down in order for that to happen. In my opinion, I think Tocha wants her lapdog back. She wants the sister back that didn't question her. She wants the sister back that lied for her. She wants the sister back that held her down and was ride or die regardless, even when she hurt her sister, even when she hurt Tamika. And I pray you never get that sister back. You have to take Tamika as she is now. And I pray that Tamika takes this gift that she's been given, that she takes her confidence, her self-worth, and that she continues to build for herself and for her family. You know, leave and cleave is a real thing. You have a husband, you have 3 children. Love your sister and your mother, but love them from a distance if you have to, until they're ready to come back and truly make amends. And then you all hopefully can do that with some counseling and some therapy. Next we see them give a wrap up of everything that's going on since the show. Tocha and Tamika unfortunately have not talked since that concert. SWV got presented with platinum plaques. The hits are still hitting, and they are set to go on tour with Jodeci. And now Xscape, as we know, is performing as a trio with Kandi, Tiny, and Tamika. Looking back on it, they also talked about this Lady of Soul Awards for Soul Train, where Tocha showed up in the green dress. And in my opinion, now that we know all of this that went on, Tocha definitely did that on purpose. You know, when that first happened, the blogs, everything went wild because Tocha was painted as the victim of, oh, they didn't tell me what the wardrobe was going to be. Kandi dropped the receipts then of the text to her stylist. And people still, you know, because I think people sometimes really just don't like Kandi, it made it seem like all the other 3 girls were bullying up on Tocha. I think after all of this, we know who was telling the truth in all of that. I think Tocha chose to wear a different dress on purpose. Dress was bad. I also think the dress was green on purpose. Her and Rocky are slick, honey. They're slick. So that is the end of this episode, y'all. Again, I'm grateful for the music, the little bit of music that we got. It was a lot week after week to see these sisters imploding. But again, I think on the back end, it's going to be very cathartic for Tamika. It's what she needed to be free in her life, to have the opportunity to tell her story. And for the world to see after all of this time, 30 years, that it's not Kandi. It's not Tamika. It's not Tiny. And honestly, I'm going to do a separate video because y'all have sent me some interviews and things that you want me to review. So I think I probably still am going to do another video or 2 wrapping this all up. But it's more than one person that's an issue. However, Tocha has serious issues. And these ladies, Tamika especially, have covered for Tocha and Rocky, in my opinion, the bulk of this crazy, dysfunctional business ride. You know, Tiny and Kandi both said there's lots more that have gone on through the years with Rocky and his management of them that they didn't even get into. And honestly, I think it's enough now. Like, we get it. We see it. Most of us. The ones who want to see it, see it. But of course, if y'all want to keep dropping tea, you know, feel free. But, you know, it was interesting. So y'all give me your comments. Let me know what you think. Like I said, I'm probably going to watch Kandi's speak on it and some more videos that you all have seen me. And I will be back later with another video. Y'all subscribe to the channel, like the video. Make sure you are hitting your notification bells. And I will see you all soon for the next video. Bye.